to the Jeep Trackhawk. What do you do when you get in here? Well, you launch it. Oh my goodness. That is what 707 horsepower feels like in a mid-sized SUV. This, of course, has the legendary Hellcat Supercharged V8 in here. This is the Hemi engine, and it is absolutely a monster. This thing makes over 707 horsepower and over 645 pound-foot of torque from factory, guys. This is absolutely insane. Wow, this thing is quick. Now, just before we continue with this Trackhawk review, please go ahead and make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and click the bell notifications so you get updated on all our weekly uploads. This is a absolutely insane vehicle, which I am so grateful that I have the pleasure to drive for you guys today. Now, this vehicle is not completely stock. It does have a cold air intake fitted. It's also got a stage 2 interchiller. So they put some plates that, they space out the supercharger, I think, from the engine here, and they put a thermal blanket in there, really to just keep everything a little bit cooler, and it does give it some higher performance there. Now, these things from factory on the dyno will reliably push out about 575 horsepower all day, every day, and that is all-wheel drive horsepower, so, it's quite impressive. Now, with these modifications, I am quite happy to say this would be at minimum pushing 600 all-wheel horsepower, and, it feels like it. It really, really does. I really think this is probably got to be one of the most ultimate kind of dad cars out there because, you can fit the whole family in this thing. You can go off-road, you can go through bloody snow or sand or whatever you want to do. You can all-wheel drive. You can take this thing out camping if you wanted to, whatever. And, you got enough room for the kids, the family, the groceries, the dog. And you got 707 horsepower and a supercharged V8. It's just, man, it is, yeah. To me, this has definitely got to be one of them crazy dad cars for sure. Now, let's get into some of the 5 questions here. We always start off with sound, so just going from a dig. Yep. Wow. Oh my goodness. That is that sound is so awesome. That supercharger whine is absolutely insane. I got goosebumps all over my body right now. Wow. Woo. There is a little bit of a delay in the center tacho here because that is, of course, a digital readout, but you do just got to get used to it and shift a little bit earlier because, yeah, even then you could have just told that I kind of hit redline on the that first gear change shift. So, yeah, it's just something you got to get used to with this is that it goes so quick that the rev counter can't even keep up. It's blisteringly fast. Now, price. Well, these Trackhawks here in Australia came out from factory at about $135,000. And, that is a lot of money for a Jeep. It really is. But when you think about what you're actually getting here, over 700 horsepower, it actually begins to become a real bargain. And I gotta say, sitting in this car as well, it actually does feel like quite a nice place to be. I'm not sure if this is real carbon fiber, but it actually does look the part. There is nice soft touch materials in here. There's quite a bit of leather. It's really comfortable in here and quite nice looking. Now on the used market, these cars have held their value extremely well. This one is for sale at CarGiant WA, and it's actually one of the cheapest in the country. The average going rate for one of these is around the $110,000, $120,000 mark, and you know, it's really lost no value at all. So it's really impressive, and I think because this was the only vehicle that was offered in Australia with that Hellcat engine, it's gonna stay at a high price for quite some time. Now, practicality. Well, driving this, I really want to say this is probably one of the most practical, perfect, like just one of the best all-around vehicles I've probably ever had on the channel, because it really can do everything and it does it really well. The only thing that, you know, you kind of get stuck with is that this vehicle is fairly expensive to buy, you know, for the average person. You know, we're looking at 6 figures minimum. It is quite pricey, but for what you're getting, it is a bit of a deal. But also, your running cost is gonna be quite high. Now, reliability in that, this is a Jeep Chrysler product, so, you know, they've never been the greatest for reliability, though I do have a lot of faith in the Hemi. So I think the engine, the driveline, this is a ZF 8-speed again, so, you know, I think that is all well and good. I don't find you're gonna get many problems, but it's probably more some of these electrical bits, some of the quality on some of the interior stuff might start to go on you, but it's that fuel bill that's really gonna hurt your back pocket, because this is claimed at like something like just under 17 liters per 100 Ks combined. And you know, when you're driving this thing, just even normally like I have been for the most part, it's getting something like 22 liters per 100 Ks combined. So, you know, it is one thirsty little engine here. I gotta say, this is a really nice interior. You know, I actually really like it. I think it's one of the nicest kind of Jeep Chrysler product vehicles I've been in with this interior. You know, it's really nice. You got leather stitching in it. You know, it's got a good infotainment system. I really like this Uconnect system. It's got some performance apps in here. Very intuitive. You know, you can even drag apps and stuff into the bottom of the screen here, just so you don't have to get out of anything, and it's just a quick tap to get to it. Climate control and everything's just easy to use. Everything is just simple and how you would imagine, so it is a real big win here. I do like this interior quite a lot. Ventilated seats as well, so you know, this is perfect living here in Australia. It really is. Now, handling. Well, this is a Trackhawk, so, you know, it should be fairly good on the track. And, you know, I've only left this in auto for the time being, and, you know, it's fairly comfortable. You know, you can daily it. It is a little bit stiff, but, you know, it's definitely livable. And, you know, let's just go ahead and chuck this into track mode. This does have adjustable Blistine dampers, so it should stiffen up a little bit here. And you can actually feel the steering does get a little bit stiffer as well. It does have quite a nice feel to it, though. I will say it does lack a little bit of response, but it is quite direct. You know exactly where you are. The steering does feel fairly sharp, though it does just have that kind of automated feel to it. Yeah, she is just unbelievable, this thing. And yeah, wow. You know, when you go into a corner quite heavy, you do feel that this is, you know, a mid-size SUV. But I have to say, it does tremendously well. It really does. Luckily, though, it does get very large Brembos up front, so it does have fairly good stopping power. These Trackhawks also get a strengthened rear LSD, because when you launch this thing, mate, there has to be something solid, yeah, holding it all together, because this thing is explosive. Now, 0 to 100. This has got launch control. It is enabled. We're gonna time it, so let's see. We gotta hold on the throttle down till launch says enabled, full throttle. Holy! Now this 0 to 100 is meant to be something of like 3.5 seconds, and let's just see if we can find it here. Now this is meant to have been recorded. Now we were going a little bit uphill, so we did disadvantage it a little bit there, but wow, this is insane. So I think that the performance pages that did the timer for us, I think it's still in miles per hour, because it's saying 0 to 60 here, and it's saying 3.5 seconds exactly. So even going uphill there slightly, this thing done 3.5 seconds. It is absolutely insane. And that launch thing is just so easy. It's a big little launch button here. You know, it's got the drag indicators on it, and I love how Dodge just doesn't take itself too seriously and have all these fun track apps. You know, you got a launch button right here, which you can just use and use and use, and it's just so much fun. It is just, yeah, it's awesome, this car. It is just, perfect. Now we can go into manual mode. We do have some paddles here. They are not the best paddles I've ever used. They are a little bit cheap feeling, and they're only kind of like a half paddle, similar to the 300 SRT I recently reviewed. Though it is quite satisfying to go through the gears here, and you know, just going from a dig again. Oh! Oh my God! And you just hear that gunshot on every up change with that supercharger whine just hissing in here. Woo! Oh my goodness, it is awesome. Oh! That is so addictive. It is so addictive, this car. This engine just feels so insane. It's honestly one of the most impressive V8s I've ever driven. And you know, that says a lot considering the history here in Australia building epic V8s. You know, this American Hellcat engine is absolutely insane. It really does feel like a proper, you know, built modified V8. You know, it is. Listen to this thing. Oh my God. Yeah, it's quick. This is a car that, you know, in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it's gonna be really special still, because we're gonna look back at it and just go, what on earth were they thinking back then? And you know, everyone, even when it came out, would have said this, but we are all so grateful that it actually happened, because there's just not many 700 horsepower mid-size SUVs that you can buy that, you know, make insane supercharger noises like this one does. It's absolutely insane. And you know, this was really the kind of first super SUV that came out. You know, lately we have gotten some insane ones that have come to the stage, you know, like the Lamborghini Urus, you know, the Bentley Bentayga, and some of these really fast luxury, ultimate luxury SUVs here. And you know, this Trackhawk was kind of the beginning of that trend, and you know, it's really cool to sit in this thing and experience it. It really is. Now I'm going to finish the video off here today, so a huge thank you goes out to CarGiant WA for allowing me to take out this Trackhawk, because this was just absolutely bonkers. You know, this is the only vehicle that we can get the Hellcat engine in, so you know, this is really special for us here in Australia. And you know, if any one of you guys can get the chance to get in one of these and go for a spin, I highly recommend it, because few SUVs few cars even will offer you this much fun. It is a thrill for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If so, please remember to hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're new here, and we'll see you on that next video.